Good morning, everybody. Slay here. Man, I have so much to talk about. Where to even begin? I know it seems like I've been gone a month, everybody. I haven't put out any new content for a while, but with this last event that they had 3 weekends in a row, I absolutely no-lifed it, and I earned the 3 Valkyrie pilots. So that would explain why I haven't put out content yet. And then shortly after, we got news of the June patch, and here we are. We got the news, like a day before the patch dropped. So I had to get my bearings straight and see what exactly I want to do. So a lot of things have come out with this new patch, and at first, I'll admit, I was quite salty. I'm not a fan of anything that is RNG. I am definitely not a fan of the model they went with, and I'm not a fan of their actions shortly after, and I will explain that as we go through. But overall, I do feel this was a change that was necessary for the game, and I will explain myself on that right now. So if you'll look at my lines, I am nearing the completion of this game. And you know what this game would be to me. I'm not quitting the game, but I have almost ground out every single tier 10 aircraft you can have. I have all the German aircraft. I have all the Russian aircraft. I am nearing completion of the F-84F. Shortly, in a few weeks, I'll probably have that. I'll have the Key 162 very shortly. I'll have that Javelin very shortly. What do you do in this game after you've completed every tier 10, other than just play the game, right? And I totally understand where people are coming from, where you guys are disappointed that, okay, before the patch my plane did this, after the patch my plane with its stock equipment does that. I get it. But I will tell you, and I don't know if I'm going to be the first to open your guys' eyes, but your planes can perform better than where they were pre-patch. And when I say perform better, I mean you can specialize an aircraft into doing what you want better. Now, not all aircraft have, the specializations to do what you want. Some drunk Russian at Wargaming thought it was okay that you had to choose between a fire extinguisher and a med kit. I will tell you this right now, with the protections you can build up to your pilot, you can make it so you don't even need a med kit and you can just run that fire extinguisher. This game is now about customization. And when I say customization, I'll use the Focke-Wulf 57 as an example. If you look at my Focke-Wulf 57, I spec'd my Focke-Wulf 57 out for rate of fire and pretty much damage and fire. My buddy specialized his Focke-Wulf 57 for distance and crit. You can change the way your plane feels and plays by altering these simple things, like altering your equipment around. And I'm going to give you hopefully a decent tutorial on exactly how to do that. I'm going to hopefully leave you guys after this video with a better understanding of the calibration system. I know it looks completely RNG, and I will explain why it seems so daunting to get into. It does require a lot of components. First off, foremost, let's go over the components. So if you look at your components, and by the way, a quick way to look at your components is if you're in the calibration screen, it'll pop up on the left, or you can just simply go to your depot. You go to your depot, it's going to show you the rarity. And if you look at these numbers, the rarity kind of coincides. The reason I have so few flight instruments is because you use them in a lot of the upgrades. So if you look at the tiers here, I would almost ignore this. I have seen these radio electronics that say they are tier 8 through 10 drop at tier 5 and 6. So I don't know if maybe, this 8 through 10 is not working and only the 5 through 6 is working, etc. But as for tiers 1 through 4, I have only ever seen airframe elements and mechanical parts. So just basically breaking it down, you need to play tiers 1 through 4 to earn airframe elements or mechanical parts, or if you play tier 5 or higher, based on your performance in the game, from what I've understood, it is based off your damage to ground targets, it's based off your kills to ground targets, how much damage and kills you had with air targets as well. It's not just your personal points. I think your capture points might play a little bit into it, how many sectors you captured, but with this recent bug of Wargaming not recognizing every sector you captured, don't rely on that. If you're playing a bomber, go bomb ground targets. If you're playing a fighter, go shoot down air targets. Play like you would normally play, and you're going to earn these components. And while I have no bearing on exactly how many components you're going to get, I wish they would come out with maybe a graph, maybe a spreadsheet, something saying, hey guys, if you kill two air targets, this is what you're going to get, etc. I don't like randomness when it comes to materials. Secondly, about the materials, the only way at the moment you can earn these is by winning. And that is frustrating. No longer is my credits and the experience I earn for an aircraft a thing to me. The only thing I care about when I play this game is winning. And it's caused me to kind of become something that I was during the weekend event. And that is just a basic cancer to this game. I have flown more RB-17 in this last month than I have my entire play since 2.0 dropped. And it's because winning is such a huge factor. You're going to see the meta combos out there, guys. You're going to see the pancakes and the RBs. You're going to see double RB. You can't let that frustrate you. You can't get overwhelmed. All you can do is play to your best, because you're not always going to see that. And if you have a, as the old saying goes, if you can't beat them, join them, right? So if you're getting beat by somebody flying double RB-17, fly double RB-17. If you're getting beat by somebody flying pancake RB-17, copy that and fly the same. I'll tell you right now, double pancake is going to beat double RB-17 if you just focus on the RB-17s. Anyways, so back to these components. Win the game, earn the components. Until Wargaming changes the way you can earn these, that is the only way to get them. Now, if Wargaming, if you're watching this, please, dear God, change it so that you at least get half of these or some kind of consolation prize on a loss. The one thing that has set World of Warplanes apart for me compared to World of Tanks and your other game, World of Warships, well, maybe not so much Warships. I haven't played much Warships, but definitely World of Tanks. The economy in this game has always been better to me. It has always been the reason I played this game. I like that even if you lost, you still got your experience, you still got your credits, and it was at a reasonable rate. Now, with this new component system, I completely feel that if you lose, all that time you put into that game, gone. Effort. Everything you just did, gone. And one thing that has been happening now that people are playing so damn hard, and congrats to everybody who's playing hard out there, this is exactly what you should be doing. I have had more draws in the last 2 days than I have in the last month, which kind of blows my mind. If you'll look, I have 10 draws. I had 4 of them in the last 2 days. 4 of the draws of my 10, of my 2893 battles came from the last 2 days. And if you'll see what I was mentioning about more RB-17 than I can handle, I have now almost 90 hours of my RB-17 out of 329 hours. Just to give you an idea of where I've been this last couple weeks. And if people don't like me because of that, I'm sorry. But the Valkyrie missions over the weekend, if you guys were around for those, you had to know life. And the best way to know life was to sit in RB-17, pop on Netflix, and just watch Netflix all day and drop bombs and earn score. That's literally all I did for too many hours on those weekends. Too many hours, not enough time to make a video. But anyways, back to this. So we talked about the materials, how to earn them, right? Now, what are the materials used for? Well, if you look here on my equipment, let's just use this Focke-Wulf 57, for example, just for now. They're all maxed out equipment. And you might be going, wow, that's pretty cool. I want maxed out equipment too, but I will warn you right now that you don't want to max out your equipment unless your aircraft is specialized. We haven't even gone over specialization yet. I told you there's a lot with this patch, right? So I can understand, again, how daunting it is to take an initial look at this patch and go, you know what, there is just too much going on. They changed this game. I'm out. I don't want to grind out my stuff anymore. But I will tell you right now, the patch has only been out for something like 5 days now. Within the first 2 days, I had my RB-17 specialized without spending a single token. And by last night, I had all of its equipment completely maxed out. It is something you can do. It is something anybody can do. It just takes time. And now that I'm playing more, I'm seeing a lot more specialized aircraft out there. and I imagine their gear is getting maxed out as well. So I guess the initial what we should talk about is specialization. So let's go to an aircraft that I don't have specialized. Let's just use, I don't want to use the IL-10M. Let's use the MEP 1102B. For anybody that does play Tier 8 GA, I will tell you right now, there's no better time than right now to grind it out. I won't explain why, but just go take a look at your Tier 8 GA and go look at the specialization requirements compared to Tier 7 and 8, or Tier 7 and 9. You might want to grind out your Tier 8 GA. That's just a little hint from me. So anyways, back to my Tier 10. So here it kind of tells you, your elite status. So by the way, they changed elite status. Elite status is no longer what you get for unlocking the next aircraft and all the components or all the modules. You get elite status based on just unlocking all the modules. So if you're going to convert your free experience, and you might, click on this over here and you go, whoa, I have a ton of free experience. Do not convert it. Please, dear God, do not convert it unless you plan on no longer going down those lines. If you'll look, it's the lines that I have already worked on. Those things have free experience unlocked. Do not, and I will say it again, do not convert your free experience. You will be losing your progress on your aircraft, and that is going to just floor some people and maybe cause some more to quit. So back to this, elite status. Well, once you get elite, you can get specialist. You'll see here you can complete specialist for tokens. The lower tier it is, the less tokens it costs. Tier 10 costs 130. Tier 1 costs like 4. It's a huge difference. One thing I will mention that to me is kind of BS is it's not prorated. So wargaming, if you're watching this, if I'm at 1600 out of 2000 here and 50 out of 60, this token cost should be prorated, because I'm more inclined to spend my tokens on this to just get rid of the rest of the grind than I would be if I get to 1600 out of 2k and 40 out of 60. I'm not going to spend full price as if I had 0 progress in a plane. So if you want people to actually bite into this, you might want to work on your system and actually prorate it based on how much progress people have done already. But anyways, back to specializing. So specializing is important. It unlocks all the equipment slots. It unlocks all the consumable slots. It also unlocks the advancement level of your equipment, and we'll go into that in just a minute. Again, I know a lot to cover here, but if you'll look, it's based on your aircraft type, and all type are the same. Tier 10 requires a lot. Tier 1 requires not so much. You can specialize a Tier 1 plane in like a game or two. It's not bad. Tier 10 takes a little bit. So if you look here, sections of ground targets destroyed in victorious battles, 2k. Participation in capturing sectors, that's easy. That just comes playing a GA. This victorious battles crap, come on, wargaming. People have expressed so many times we don't appreciate having to win to get progress, because again, that makes people saltier when you lose, and there's a lot of people who lose 40 to 50% of the time out there, that you're just going to drive them away if they're spending their hard-earned time in this game and not getting rewarded for it. So get rid of the victorious battle requirement on pretty much all your stuff, including material earning. It's just dumb. It should be based off how you play. You put the time and effort in, you earn it, you get it. And this is coming from someone who has nearly an 80% win rate. I don't appreciate, having to, know that the rest of the community out there, I'm not saying I'm better than anybody, but just knowing that if I was a 50%er and I was putting all my time in and I was constantly not getting rewarded, I would not really be inclined to play this game anymore. So just use that food for thought. Let me know in the comments, guys, how you feel about it, if you're still around. I know there's a long video. We have so much to go over. Okay, moving on. So that was specializing. Now what happens when you specialize? Well, if you take a look at your service, not your upgrades. Your upgrades will show your module. The service will show things that are locked out. If you'll look here on my 1102B, this is one thing I kind of do like, by the way, is not all GA are the same. My IL-40 has different equipment slots than my 1102. I'll just use a quick example. Click over to my IL-40. Look, it's got double airframe and my forward fire weapon. But while we're here, Again, this is a non-specialized aircraft. I haven't put much time into this plane since the patch. But if you'll look here, it's red. Why is it red? Well, it says there, bonus aircraft, bonus characteristics inactive. This equipment is mounted on an aircraft that has not been upgraded to specialist configuration. Its performance is reduced. Now you have to make a kind of a snap call. Do I want to keep enhancing my equipment, even though I'm getting characteristics reduced, or do I want to just leave it at improved? You get full performance from an improved item. So I guess before we really get into this, what is an improved item? So you take, for instance, here is my cockpit slot. As for my IL-40 and all things that are GA lately, you kind of want to go for fire chance. It will basically make you like that Russian Valkyrie by just doing that. So if you look here, I took rate of fire, and I have 5% chance of causing fire, right? So let's go to enhance. Let's go into enhancing first. So if you look here, when you enhance, it's going to change the quality of your weapon, but it's also going to increase the negative. But one thing to really take note here, guys, if you look, you have this calibration level, okay, calibration range they call it. The range at improved is 200 to 258. If you max out, and if you dump a bunch of components and you get lucky with that calibration, you can start at 9.6. That translates over here to slightly higher calibration range. Even though it says it only goes to 258, when you start at 300, it will be slightly higher based on whatever 9.6 is. Anyways, so when you calibrate, you are simply moving this yellow line forward. Don't ever accept anything that is behind where your yellow mark started. Always move that mark to the right. Remember, if it's going right, it's the right way. If it's negative and has a -2 or whatever on there, and you somehow ended on this side, which you will a lot, do not accept it, because once you accept it, it is finalized. I know we were talking about calibration there. Let's go back to enhancing. So enhancing, when you take an item, and I really feel for this, we need to do a stock item. Anyways, so GA, you want fire chance, okay? Yes, you're an IL-40P, you want to probably have a lot of armor, etc. I get it. That's where I'm getting it from my airframe. As for my damaging capabilities, I want to be able to cause some fires. So I'm going to put a sight on this thing. If you'll look here, it tells you, when you click on the new equipment to see what you want, it tells you how many you have in the depot and how many are on other aircraft. I have 21 because I had a lot of equipment that I just did not mount when this patch came out. It demounted all your equipment and reset all your settings. So again, if you're just logging into this patch and you're still here in this video, go into your settings and reset everything and maybe re-equip your aircraft after you watch this video. You might want to put different things on your aircraft. So going into equipment, I put a sight on. Now once you have a sight, first thing you want to do is enhance it. Some people will tell you calibrate it, go to the max, and then enhance. I'll tell you from experience of someone who has maxed out equipment on 2 aircraft now, just enhance it first. You're going to save yourself the components. I know it seems like you are quote unquote saving components, but if you're like me and you have terrible RNG with calibration, then you're just dumping components trying to get a few numbers ahead when you could just enhance it all the way to ultimate by the time you're a specialist, and then calibrate it from there. Anyways, first things first, enhancing. So when you enhance, you'll see again, range is 100 to 148. I enhance it, the new range is 200 to 258. On top of that, you get these additional bonus characteristics. Now this is where the true RNG gods come into play. You'll see here, you got 5% chance of inflicting critical damage, and you have 10% chance of causing a fire. Obviously, as a ground attack aircraft, I want as much fire chance as I can. You can get 15% from your forward fire weapon if you roll good, and you can get 10% from your cockpit. So we're going to go ahead and try and enhance this and see what we get. I want that 10% chance causing fire. Really bad. That is pretty much all you would want. Trust me. So we clicked enhance here. And we got the 10% chance causing a fire. That never happens to me, by the way. That was just really lucky. If you did not get what you want, you could disassemble it. If you'll look, you got pretty much all the rare components and just slightly less of the base component. So you can't disassemble forever, but you can re-roll a significant amount of times trying to get what you want. Okay? Yeah, I'm not going to re-roll it. I got what I wanted. Got my fire. Now, what I was talking about calibrating, when you are playing a plane that you know, okay, this is going to take a long time to get into, specialists in this plane, and honestly, this only applies to like tier 9 and 10. Yes, it will benefit you to improve or to calibrate your improved equipment, your blue rarity equipment for those wild players out there. You want to calibrate and move on. It would be fine to calibrate, or you could just not calibrate and you could just enhance and wait for you to get specialists and just enhance it all the way. But if you're like me and you know you're going to be sitting trying to specialize this aircraft for a while, it might behoove you to calibrate. So I'm going to use this as an example. So calibrating. Now remember we talked about that range. It was just a small little blurb on the enhancement thing. It only showed you the highest I believe is 478. So it only showed you the range within that big range. Well, here you're only going to see that small range. Now this is where confirmation bias is going to set in. Pretty hardcore, guys. So I'm going to calibrate this. This is an approved equipment. So if you'll look, my first one rolled a 206. Honestly, it rolls to 206 a lot for me. Anyways, now here's where it gets into a little tricky. So if you saw when it was calibrating, it was slinging that range, that little calibration range, super fast. And it was going a lot to the right, a lot to the left. Well, unfortunately, just because you're at 200 to 206, it still has that equal amount of time going to the left. So if you'll watch, it's going to the right, it'll go to the left. Well, if you look, it only stops here at 200. So it goes to the left, it goes past there, and then it comes back. So you're actually, when you are a lower level in your calibration, from my experience, you have a better chance of failing. But on the flip side of that, guys, when you are on the higher spectrum of that calibration range, you have a better chance of succeeding. My good buddy DM last night pointed out to me this fact, and I went on and maxed out all of my equipment on my RB and my Focke-Wulf 57. I was sitting about here, and I just maxed everything out within 2 or 3 tries. So it works both ways, literally. So just to prove that here, we're going to go calibration. I'm probably going to succeed every time because that's, how it is when I make videos. I get that YouTube creator luck. So we're going to go ahead and calibrate. It went plus 10. Now we're going to calibrate again. Now you see that range moving and all the way back to 200. Okay, guys. Wargaming said on the forums, you have no chance of getting a fail roll, blah, 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 blah. It could only be successful, right? That's a load of horse shit, okay? The little, fine print there, you have to not hit apply. If you hit apply right now, you are going back to base status on this piece of equipment. So you either hit calibrate or you hit cancel. Don't worry, if you hit calibrate, it doesn't start from here. It's going to reset the position back to here and then go from there, okay? So we do not want to accept this. So when Wargaming says, a fail roll is not possible, this is a fail roll, Wargaming. Don't try and lie to people. This is a fail roll, okay? Do not hit apply, guys. Remember what I said. To the right is what you want. To the left, you just hit calibrate or you cancel. If this was your last components of that day, just hit cancel. One little tip with the components, guys, farm a bunch of components and then calibrate. It'll be less frustrating. There's nothing more frustrating than playing one game, getting just enough to calibrate one time, and then failing. You're going to feel like your time's wasted. But if you play 10 games, get materials from 10 games, and then go calibrate, you're not going to feel as bad when that fail roll comes. And fail rolls will come, guys. They will. Despite what Wargaming says, they come. just adapt and overcome and persevere. You live by that, you're going to win. All right. So 200 back from my 216, I say BS. I'm going to keep calibrating. So again, resets to that position and starts its range again. Right back to 200. That's a pretty odd rarity there, isn't it? No, it isn't. Because what we learned last night is when this goes this way, it has an equal amount of chance to go this way as it does that way. Well, the range is to the right is bigger, the range to the left is smaller, but it lingers in that 200 position more time, right? So, but if I'm speaking too fast, I apologize, but all I could say is picture that range goes out to about right here. This doesn't mean it rolled exactly 200 twice in a row. That's pretty damn rare if it does, right? What this means is it would have ended somewhere over here, but because there is no more, it's stopping at 200. So it's not a, act of God and I shouldn't go to Vegas because I have the best odds in the world. No. It's just showing me what the UI can handle, which is not a lot. So we're going to calibrate again. And this is where the frustration levels comes in, guys. But it was all confirmation bias. You do move that equipment up. Okay? Do not give up. I had a fail roll 14 times in a row from, I was at the 6 mark, and it failed 14 times in a row on my RB. I was swearing up and down. I mean, you could not have put me in church that day. That is for sure. And I was completely saying this is broken, this game sucks, this patch sucks, etc., etc., etc. Yes, I'm frustrated with this patch, but if you just sit back. Pardon the interruption there. Yesterday was Father's Day. Just enjoys being a father. Anyway, so back to this. Guys, don't give up, as I just said. If you are feeling like, you're getting that negative roll a bunch of times, as much as it seems like, the world is picking on you, it is just RNG. Keep persevering. You have an equal amount of chance to keep going forward as you do backwards. So we're going to take this one all the way through. I have the equipment and the credits to obviously support this. So I want to keep this 10. I'm going to hit apply. So we'll keep going. I'm going to show you what it's like to calibrate something from nothing to full. There we go. Look at that range. All the way back to 216. Sorry, 210, 16 down. Obviously, I'm not going to keep that. Keep calibrating. Negative roll again. Right about now, people will be getting pissed. You just spent 40k credits, lost some components you just earned in a game. Maybe they just left for the night because they're angry. They failed twice. But again, next roll, it's going to move up. Always accept it, no matter what. If it goes up 2, which I want to say it works in evens, but I can't confirm that. But if it goes up 2, accept it. If it's green and it's to the right, something's good. Again, negative numbers you don't keep. So we're just going to keep dumping into this. Hopefully I don't fail too much before I can even get there, but I have 42 tries at this, at least. Okay, moving up very slowly. But it gets better. Once you get to the end, it gets a lot better. And hopefully I get to demonstrate that. So keep dumping more into this. This again is why, see, there's that too. This is why I would suggest to just enhance your equipment before you calibrate it. The only reason I'm calibrating is for demonstration purposes. I normally would not calibrate improved equipment. I would only enhance it. But I'm doing this for the sake of science. Because once you hit that ultimate, yeah, it's going to be the same thing. It's just going to cost a lot more. Once you hit ultimate, it does cost more. And, that is that. So a couple bad rolls. You get, a bunch of bad rolls, then you get the occasional decent roll. Okay. So looks like I'm failing a couple times and getting my good roll somewhere, shortly after. So hopefully keep on going. I feel like I'm literally just pulling at a slot machine right now. Look at these winnings. Like, it's like a slot machine, right? Like, you win, like, oh, here's $1, here's $2, whatever. Oh, you lost $10, etc. Like, oh, those are so broken. But look, I won, guys. 4 and 6. Alright, so we're getting there. Now you'll see it's going to get better. We're not quite to the point where it's going to be better yet. But look at this. I'm going up and up and up because you have an equal amount on the spectrum to go all the way over here. So imagine this invisible line here, this range, it's going all the way down here or all the way up here. So if it goes anywhere past the next 4, it's going to end up maxed out. This is what I learned last night. So check this out. I'm going to calibrate. I'm probably going to fail a couple times, but if you look, when it gets positive, it maxes out. Thanks again to DM CERN for pointing this out to me. So again, guys, if you're at the top and you say you're 10 away and you just worked your ass off getting there, just throw in the extra calibration or 2 and just max it out. There's no point not maxing it out. When you've calibrated already, you might as well max it out. So anyways, so you hit apply, you're done. Now it says the equipment curves were calibrated in the best possible way. For further calibration, enhance the equipment. So if you'll look, I'm at 13% accuracy right now. Take me to enhancement. So if I enhance it, it's going to start at 13%. Now remember what I said. If you don't enhance it, okay guys, you could only go, I believe it was 200 to 258, right? So you start at 200. If you enhance it, it would have taken you to the 11% mark. But I'm starting off at the 13% mark, which if you'll look at my range, remember that range, this gold mark indicates where you're at, the range is where you could be. This would have started at 300 if I didn't have calibrated equipment, but since my calibration is to the max, it starts at 328, which is good. But again, I would still only recommend enhancing before calibrating, because when you enhance, you're going to put it out there and you're just going to have, you know, spend so much less materials. Look how much it took me just to go from where I was to where I got, and I'm only getting 28 extra for that roll. But again, if you're going to be specialized in aircraft for a long time and you want to get the best of everything that you can, just sit there, play with improved. You can calibrate it if you want, and it's not all thrown away, right? It's not for nothing. You don't just end up at 258 and start at 300. You actually start based off this percentage, right? So in this range, it says you can go 11 to 17%. Okay, this is where they make it confusing. Even though it says 11 to 17%, this range would go 8 to 13%, if that makes any sense. So it kind of makes it confusing as all hell out, because what happens to the other 42 points, right? So in my opinion, right, if I'm going 8 to 13 from 200 to 258, so it should just gradually go up, right? Go 14, 15, whatever, and once it gets to 300, say it starts at like 16 and goes further. But they did that to not make the equipment overpowered, and I can understand completely why they did that. Okay? I could understand it. 100%. So I'm kind of with Wargaming on that. So you won't change my mind. But anyways, enhancing. If I was to go further on enhancing something, if you'll look down here, you have these 3 bonus characteristics. You got 5% chance of causing crit, because that is from the first improvement. Enhance, or advanced, sorry, has 2 more that gets thrown into the pot. You have 10% in chance of inflicting a crit, and 5% accuracy of moving firing at moving targets. The worst roll there is obviously the 5% one, but it's not, you know, the worst thing in the world. Okay, so you can enhance it. You can go for that 10% crit, because that's what I would want, and you'll go from there. That is enhancing in a nutshell. That is calibrating in a nutshell. It just goes to a much greater range, right? So I'm going to go ahead and use an example on a smaller target here. I'm going to take something all the way to ultimate. Okay, guys? So I'm going to go to my XP31. Yeah. I'll go to my XP31 here. I'm going to eventually enhance all this equipment to the best. So if you look here, I've already have it improved. I have 10% chance of causing a fire on this already. Let's go ahead and demount that and start fresh. Alright, so I'm going to go side again, and I'm just going to purchase a new one. It costs 15k. So let's take enhancing. I showed you calibration now. Let's take enhancing to the max. Alright, and I'm going to do this on a tier 2 aircraft. Now, I'm not going to be able to use all this until I unlock the specialty on this aircraft, but that's not that hard. I'll have that in no time. So again, just like your tier 10 counterparts, whatever, your gun sight has a chance of 10% fire, 5% crit. I'm obviously going for the fire. So I'm going to click that. I got the fire first time. Imagine that. Alright, so now let's take it to the next level. So the next level would be 10% crit is what I would appreciate, but I'm not going to bother caring about that. So I got 5% crit, which is not that bad, guys. It's really not. Now you have a choice, okay? You can disassemble this and get most of your components back, or you can just say, you know what, Wargaming is going to come out with that reroll feature like they said they would, and I'm going to trust them. If you're like me, you've kind of lost that trust. So I would normally disassemble and keep rerolling, because it's a lot easier to disassemble and start from scratch, because honestly the only one that I'm going to reroll is this last one. I'll explain that right now. So here we are. The last one there, accuracy, 3% accuracy, which is usually the best thing, and then 5% pilot's resistance to injuries. Now, if you'll notice, on that last ultimate bonus characteristic that you can roll, it always has a chance to roll away some of the negative of this equipment. So right there, 5% pilot's resistance to injuries plus 5%. If I was to roll that, I would literally almost cut that in half, that negative, where it's at right now. So, with that said, the negatives suck, but you can roll those away. Or you can even further increase the equipment's base, what it is for. So like that 3% accuracy, accuracy of forward firing defensive armament. Again, that 3% accuracy, you have to make a decision. Do I want 3% accuracy or 5% accuracy when firing at moving targets? Obviously, if you're a GA, you're going to want the 3% accuracy because buildings don't move. At least in this version of the game, they don't. I'm sure there'll be a buggy version in the future where they do. So we're going to go ahead and enhance this. Now, this is probably going to be the only time I can do that because I'm out of components here, but I'm doing this for you guys. So I got 3% accuracy of forward firing armament, which is pretty good. That's what I wanted, right? So now when Wargaming comes out with the reroll, I can reroll this 5% crit into 10% crit. I'm going to keep this. This is not bad. Okay? It is not bad at all. But right there it says bonus characteristics inactive. That 10% gun, or if I go to my gun armament, if you'll look, I am getting my 14% accuracy, but since I'm not specialized, I'm not getting that 10% chance to cause fire. That is a no-no to me. These are fast-firing guns. The whole point of that was me to cause fire. So now I'm going to put that improved equipment on because I'm not specialized. And if you look here on the right, I have that 10% chance to cause a fire again. So again, you can get the base bonus from up, or enhancing your equipment to the max. But is it really beneficial? Because to me, I'd rather cause fire than have a little bit more accurate gun, right? So I'll leave that up to you guys. That's up to everybody. But anyways, guys, I know this has been a extremely long video, and I apologize. There's going to be more videos coming out. I just felt that with this patch, a lot of people are confused right now, and hopefully I was able to break it down. I am no means an expert at this. I am just somebody who has calibrated equipment to its best quality and unlocked specialization on like 2 aircraft now. Do not let the grind kill you guys. If you look, think about it. I have 2,700 games or 2,300 games. I have a lot of games played. If I was to get materials for all those games, I would have all my planes specialized and fully equipped by now. Okay, so just remember, the patch just came out. Give it some time. Play the game. Even if you just play and don't even care about specializing or enhancing your equipment yet, just play the game. It's still the same game. Nothing's changed except for all the bugs that are out right now. And there are a lot of bugs, okay? There are a ton of bugs, and I get it. Bugs suck. I hate bugs. But you know what? They're just bugs. Bugs eventually get fixed. I know Wargaming's track record, they don't fix them quickly. So if the bugs are truly what's killing you, take a break from the game. Step away. Come back in a few weeks, the bugs might be fixed. If they're not, keep, staying away. Wargaming, this is a shout out to you guys. I like this patch. I'm trying to educate people who are confused about this patch, but Shame on you, Wargaming. And I will end this video with how I truly feel about this patch. Now, guys, I have tried to educate you, but this one's for Wargaming. So, Wargaming, if you're watching, what the hell, guys? Really, what the hell? This has been one of the biggest cash grabs that I have ever seen in a video game. And you have driven away so much of your player base. You have literally cut the active online people from my friends list in half because of this game. A little bit frustrated because of the confusion about this system, but more frustrated about your tactics of how you went about this. Okay? So what I mean by that, and I said in the beginning of this video, I would explain why I felt that Wargaming was completely in the wrong in this, is if you'll look here, you earn your equipment or you earn your materials, and you only get those materials from winning. If you're a 50%er, you're only going to get materials 50% of the time. But oh, guys, here we are. We have the premium shop, right? You click your premium shop, and congratulations, guys. Now you can buy these loot boxes with a random chance to get materials. Shame on you, Wargaming. You should never have sold the materials. That is not a good idea. And if you want to, punish me for being negative, I'm sorry. But this is the truth. And if you can't handle the truth, then you really shouldn't be in the online business. And now the fact that you're selling aircraft completely specialized and with improved equipment and enough materials to keep going, etc. Holy moly, what a smack in the face to everybody who's bought a premium plane in the past, right? Because if you look, all my premium planes aren't specialized. Where's the compensation there, guys? Where's the compensation for Wargaming? You can't just start selling stuff differently than the way that you sold it before and expect the people who bought everything in the past to be completely happy about this. So Wargaming, your game is at a critical time right now. You have less people playing this game right now than you did pre-patch, I would imagine. Granted, I've seen a lot of people in the games, great, but after they play for a few times, based on what I've been seeing, half those people are leaving. Do something for the people. Fix your bugs and make it better. Fix your bugs and change the ways you can earn materials. If someone wants to be a wallet warrior or a whale or whatever and buy the materials in your shop, fine. You know what? That's what we have to swallow as the player. But please, as the developer, try and work for your players, because ultimately your players are what's going to generate your revenue. And I understand you got big corporate telling you, hey, you need to make money, blah, 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 blah. You're going to make more money if you simply just please your players. If again, I would be more inclined to spend money on a specialization, spend those tokens, if you prorated them. Just little tweaks to the system, and you're going to make me feel better about this. So Wargaming, take a step back, reevaluate exactly what you want from this game, reevaluate where you're going with this, and please just remember, when your players are happy, you're going to be happy, because a happy player is more inclined to spend money on this game than a negative player who is saying, you know what, I'm going to cut my losses and I'm just going to go play something else. So please, Wargaming, I am begging you. I love this game. There's a lot of us out there who love this game. Take it what you can. Use the demographics of what you're seeing, because I'm assure you, everybody who's watching, Wargaming sees, hopefully, that there's less people, playing this game. There's a lot of quitters out there that are just giving up and throwing in the towel. Hopefully we can, talk them into coming back. I'm trying to play damage control with all my friends, trying to get people to come back and play this game. Wargaming, this is on you. This is 100% on you. If you want to get your players to be happy, you need to make them happy by just fixing your bugs and changing the systems to be something better. Now, I'm not going to end it on a negative note. That was my little tidbit to Wargaming. Wargaming, if you watch this video all the way, I hope you take my advice. I am just a gamer, but I've been playing your products since beta of World of Tanks. Okay? So I like to think I have a good feel of your products and you as a company. With that said, I like this patch. Again, I said in the beginning, I'm going to say it at the end. This patch was necessary for the game. The way you went about it, not so much. And you can't throw in money with RNG, because if I'm some random guy and I spent $20 on your materials in the shop and then I went through that all trying to calibrate or enhance something, and I didn't get what I want, or I rolled negative on calibration the whole time, I'm going to feel pretty salty about buying something off your shop. So, positive note, this patch was necessary for the game. It gives us something to do once you have grinded out every aircraft. It gives you something to do. That's good. With that said, I hope this video helped everybody out there. I hope that you were able to somewhat learn something new by watching this, whether it's for the calibration or the enhancing. Again, I apologize. This has been a super long video and a little bit ranty there at the end, but it was necessary. And I don't think I speak for the community, but I do feel that, you know, after reading the forums and everything, I share a lot of your views, and not everybody's going to agree of how I feel about it, but that is just the base common view from what I've seen on the forums. But anyways, guys, thank you for watching. It is good to be back. I have more videos coming. I'm going to do a video on the Valkyrie pilots. I'm going to do a couple more replay videos. I've got a lot coming out. Oh, and one thing I did not mention is they just changed the replay system. They brought it back, and I actually like it for making videos. Could use some enhancements. I'll explain that in the video, but the replay system's back, so my videos are going to look different when I'm doing replays. I'm going to actually start just using their replay system and recording from that. Anyways, thank you for watching. You guys have a good day. Take care.